If you come from a product background, you're always asked to look for the aha moment. But let me be very honest and break the truth. Every customer does not see the same aha moment in your product. And that is because they look at your product differently. You would have heard of the theory by Geoffrey called Crossing the Chasm. If you haven't, let's do a quick revision here. He pro- he suggests that there are five different categories of people in which you can classify the way they perceive and adopt your product. He did an intensive research with a lot of high tech companies, but as days progressed, people realized that this is relevant not just to high tech companies, but to many other categories of products. He calls them out in five different segments, which is starting with innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Why, when you launch your product in the market, there is some quick attraction and traction that you see. And that typically comes from people who are innovative, which means they are willing to validate different possibilities, new solutions, and that sort of gives a dopamine gush saying that, oh, looks like my product works. But the interesting and the tricky part comes when you have to move through a little chasm and when you have to reach out to the early adopters, which on an average are around 13%. These people are also easy to convince. They need a few features, very specific keywords that they are looking for. And if those two, three features are prominently mentioned around your product, then they would be willing to take the risk and explore, purchase your product, talk about it, and champion it. For instance, let me take a simple example. When AI started to boom, you saw that every other product said AI enabled, AI enabled. That's because it's easier to get those first few customers who are interested in AI, no matter if the product really, had an AI component or not. But the most interesting and tricky part comes in capturing almost 68% of that market that you're going after. And they are called the early majority and the late majority. These are people who really want proof of concept. They need to see some working prototype and without which they're not willing to invest any money, time, or effort into even evaluating your product. They will put down the money on the table only when you have a lot of case studies, a lot of testimonials, a lot of working models that will support the claim that you're making. Laggards come much later and they are the mass followers. They just want to do stuff that the other people are doing. So they will wait for the product to be called cool. And until then, they're not going to step into your buyer journey. So if I have to summarize this, it's high risk to low risk and high innovation to low innovation. Let me jump into how we can generate content using this framework. We build the context just like how we did in the earlier framework, and then we are going to mix both awareness levels as well as adoption levels to create content ideas for us. And here, earlier you saw that we asked for 25 content ideas. Here we are sitting on 50 content ideas. Already you have 75 content ideas that have been generated based on scientific theories and framework, right? Here again, you can tweak this further, asking for a specific content format based on these ideas. So let's go jump into the prompt time. So here I am, and Just tweaking it a little because I'm already in the context window and I have asked it to learn more about crossing the chasm. Here you go. It tells you everything about the framework, the theory behind it, and also it started generating some content ideas based on each type of product adopter. But let's go to the more nudgy extended prompt. Now let's see. Does that give you an aha moment? Because it's creating a table based on the product adoption type and the awareness level. It is also giving you a little idea about the type of content format that you have to create. But you always have the liberty to choose and dump any of these content formats based on the availability of your time, money, and resources to generate all this content. And here we are at the big, bad, bulky prompt. It's now placing those content ideas with a content topic. It's not just an idea, it's a very specific topic around your product. And it also tells you which stage of the funnel should you be pushing it out. Is it top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or bottom of the funnel? There you go. You have an entire table created. Now, here's the interesting part. Sometimes, just like humans, Gen AI tools also get tired and lazy and they say, should I really continue creating the table? And you say, continue generating. It will start create the table for you. Right? If While it's generating, let me give you some good news. In case you've never heard of tofu, mofu, and bofu, which are actually acronyms for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, I have a short video in this segment. You can always go and refer to that.